John Thomas's The Adam and Eve story presents a fascinating exploration of Earth's history through the lens of cataclysmic events and their profound impacts on humanity. Originally published in the 1960s, the book blends elements of science, history, and mythology to offer a theory that our planet undergoes periodic, sudden, and devastating changes. These cataclysms, Thomas argues, are not merely random natural disasters, but part of a larger cyclical pattern that has repeatedly reset human civilization. Thomas's work delves into ancient texts and legends, suggesting that stories such as the biblical flood, the destruction of Atlantis, and other mythological accounts are rooted in real recurring geological and astronomical events. According to Thomas, these events include massive earthquakes, pole shifts, and other planetary upheavals that have the power to annihilate civilizations almost instantaneously. Central to the narrative are themes of survival and rebirth. Thomas postulates that humanity's resilience and capacity to rebuild after such catastrophic events are crucial to our continued existence. This cyclical pattern of destruction and renewal has shaped the course of human history, influencing everything from technological advancements to cultural and spiritual beliefs. Another significant aspect of Thomas's theory is the preservation and transmission of knowledge. He posits that the survivors of these cataclysms often possess critical knowledge that helps future generations navigate and withstand similar events. This knowledge, however, can become distorted or lost over time, leading to periods of ignorance and vulnerability until the next cataclysm triggers another cycle of learning and adaptation. By examining the Adam and Eve story through the lens of triadic relationships, we can uncover deeper insights into the interplay between catastrophism, survival and rebirth, and knowledge and ignorance. This framework will help us understand how these elements influence each other in complex and interconnected ways, revealing the underlying dynamics that have shaped human civilization across millennia. Catastrophism, survival and rebirth, and knowledge and ignorance coexist in the narrative, each shaping the other. Thomas writes, every civilization that rises must remember the signs of impending doom or face annihilation. This illustrates that the existence of knowledge about past cataclysms is crucial for the survival and rebirth of civilizations. Equilibrium is maintained when knowledge is preserved and utilized effectively. Thomas mentions those who survived were the ones who heeded the ancient warnings, preserving a delicate balance in their way of life. When knowledge is forgotten, the equilibrium is disturbed, leading to vulnerability and susceptibility to catastrophes. Catastrophes reinforce the necessity of survival tactics, which in turn reinforce the importance of knowledge preservation. Thomas states, the recurring floods taught generations to build their homes on higher ground, reinforcing the lessons of their ancestors. This shows how survival strategies are reinforced by the direct experiences of catastrophes, leading to a stronger knowledge base. Negative feedback occurs when the lack of knowledge leads to poor survival outcomes, which further emphasizes the importance of knowledge. Thomas describes, the cities that fell into oblivion were those that failed to keep the wisdom of the past, resulting in a cascade of failures. Ignorance leads to poor survival, which highlights the catastrophic consequences of knowledge neglect. Catastrophes cause the need for survival strategies, which in turn lead to the preservation of knowledge. Thomas writes, the Ice Age's devastation caused tribes to innovate, creating tools and methods that were passed down through generations. The need to survive in the face of disasters promotes the preservation and transmission of essential knowledge. Reversion occurs when lost knowledge leads to an inability to survive, bringing about catastrophic consequences. Thomas reflects, when the knowledge of how to navigate the stars was lost, entire seafaring cultures vanished. The loss of navigational knowledge leads to failed survival efforts in catastrophic conditions. Catastrophic events lead to changes in knowledge, which subsequently affect survival in unexpected ways. Thomas notes, the sudden earthquakes revealed fault lines, prompting new architectural designs that saved countless lives. This shows that direct encounters with disasters lead to innovative knowledge that enhances survival strategies. Retrospective analysis shows that current failures in survival can indicate past ignorance. Thomas writes, archaeological digs show that those who ignored signs of volcanic activity suffered total obliteration. It seems, then, that the current state of ruin can be traced back to past ignorance about impending disasters. Survival and rebirth inherently include the preservation and application of knowledge. Thomas asserts, after the Great Deluge, the survivors not only rebuilt their homes, but also their libraries, ensuring that future generations would not forget. Here, the rebirth of society after a catastrophe inherently includes the rebuilding of knowledge repositories. Without knowledge and survival mechanisms, stability and resilience are absent. Thomas warns, the fall of Atlantis is attributed to their hubris and neglect of ancestral wisdom, leading to their downfall. The lack of knowledge and survival preparedness results in the complete collapse of stability. Knowledge helps manage catastrophic events and ensure survival. Thomas highlights, the wise men who understood the signs of the heavens guided their people through the darkest times. This indicates that comprehensive knowledge directly aids in managing catastrophes and enhances survival prospects. Lack of knowledge and survival mechanisms increases the likelihood of severe impacts from catastrophic events. Thomas describes, during the Age of Darkness, many communities perished simply because they had forgotten the ancient art of firemaking. The absence of critical knowledge and survival techniques greatly amplifies the effects of disasters. The presence of catastrophic experiences and survival skills lead to enhanced knowledge, creating harmony. Thomas writes, those who lived through the ages of ice and fire became the guardians of essential lore, ensuring that harmony was restored with each rebirth. The combination of experiencing catastrophes and developing survival skills enriches collective knowledge. Dissonance occurs when the absence of survival mechanisms and catastrophic awareness leads to a lack of knowledge. Thomas states, entire cultures disappeared into myth because they ignored the natural cycles, failing to prepare. Without survival preparedness and awareness, societies fail to maintain crucial knowledge. Catastrophic events lead to the convergence of survival strategies and knowledge accumulation. Thomas explains, the convergence of seers and survivors after each calamity led to the establishment of academies where knowledge was codified. Disasters necessitate both survival strategies and the accumulation of systematic knowledge. The absence of either survival or knowledge prevents effective responses to catastrophic events. Thomas warns, when the elders died, without passing on their wisdom, the younger generation faced the next cataclysm blind and unprepared. The lack of knowledge or survival strategies makes coping with catastrophes nearly impossible. Knowledge can emerge uniquely from the interplay between catastrophes and the lack of survival strategies. Thomas writes, in the ashes of fallen empires, new philosophies and sciences emerged, forged by the trials of survival. The interplay of catastrophic events and survival challenges fosters unique knowledge. The lack of one element distinctly influences the presence or absence of another. Thomas states, without the ability to learn from the past, societies were doomed to repeat their mistakes, dividing themselves from those who thrived. The absence of knowledge or survival strategies directly impacts resilience against catastrophes. Survival in non-catastrophic times is uniquely linked with knowledge. Thomas notes, periods of peace allowed civilizations to flourish, expanding their knowledge and preparing subtly for unforeseen events. In non-catastrophic times, survival and knowledge grow together, creating a robust foundation. The absence of survival skills during non-catastrophic times leads to a significant loss of knowledge. Thomas explains, complacency during calm periods eroded the survival instincts and knowledge needed for future crises. Without the pressure of catastrophes, the motivation to retain survival skills and knowledge diminishes. The need to survive catastrophic events integrates with the acquisition of knowledge. Thomas states, survivors of the great cataclysms became the educators, teaching the lessons of endurance and wisdom to integrate their hard-earned knowledge with everyday life. Catastrophic events lead to survival efforts, integrating with the growth of knowledge. In our final triad, the absence of catastrophic events and the resulting loss of survival urgency lead to a decay in knowledge. Thomas warns, when the earth was calm, the drive to maintain ancient knowledge waned, leading to vulnerability when the next upheaval arrived. Without catastrophes, survival urgency and the preservation of knowledge decline, leaving societies unprepared.